Milosti prosim, druk. If that Russian was wrong, blame the internet. Hello guys and welcome back to Everlasting Summer. So, last time we were here, our dear protagonist was in a foul mood. But he also met some kind of strange person who seems to know him. And I suppose we are going to investigate a bit more into that. So, let's go on, shall we? I got up and started to slowly walk along the rows of tables. Whoops. This game. This is the only thing I really hate. I mentioned that like 10 parts ago or something, but when they suddenly pop up, it's like, woo! I get so scared. That is worse, like the worst jump scare. That's it, okay guys, enjoy your meal. Oh, whoops. But I pushed the backwards button. So maybe it was my fault that I was surprised. Always when I do dumb stuff, I get the consequences. Oh well. Lena and Xenia are sitting over there. I gave them a friendly smile. Alisa and Juliana are laughing and arguing about something. Olga surrounded by pioneers. Good thing she didn't notice me. There are hardly any free seats, but the guy from this morning is nowhere to be seen. The situation is getting more and more interesting. Looks like I won't find him here. Maybe he already had lunch. I headed to the exit. It was so hot outside that it seemed like he would instantly melt after coming out of the shade. Hey, so I turned up the volume a little bit. I hope that's okay with you guys. It seemed like the recording last time was a bit silent. And yeah, I thought maybe this time we'll make it a bit louder. But I forgot to do in the beginning, so there you go. It was so hot outside that it seemed like you would instantly melt after coming out of the shade. And I pushed the wrong button again. I suddenly felt sleepy. Or sleepy, probably. I yawned and headed to the camp's leader cabin in order to follow the domestic interpretation of the Archimedes principle. In the end, Olga is unlikely to return anytime soon. At least I think so. And I would definitely have a couple of hours to rest. Anyways, I really don't expect any other option to arise, especially in this heat. The heavenly coolness in the cabin became my salvation. I took my clothes off and jumped into bed. Crickets were lazily chirping outside. The wind was shaking the curtains on the window, and I sank into a dream. No real dream, okay. Knocking on the door woke me up. The knocks were soft but insistent. I reluctantly got up and went to open it. Strangely, there was nobody on the doorstep. I rubbed my eyes and stepped out to look around. All the same, no one around. A dream, maybe. It was already 4 o'clock. I felt jaded. I probably shouldn't have slept in the afternoon. After all, I knew that was what was going to happen. I put on my boots, left the cabin, and locked the door. But where shall I go? All in all, there is not much till dinner. A sudden thought came to me that it would be nice to refresh myself, so I went towards the beach. The sun has passed the midday mark a while ago. It gets dark early here, in the south. I squinted and looked up at the flaming disk. Who was that just now? I flinched. The same mysterious guy was standing in front of me. I kinda don't like him. He looks like a threat or something. And once again his face was hard to see due to the bright light. For a moment the sun blinded me so I could not see anything besides the faint contours of objects. Are you stalking me? Nope, I was just passing by, he answered calmly. And you should know better. So, you haven't seen anyone? Correct. I rubbed my eyes, but it did not help. Why didn't I see you at lunch? I asked bluntly. I wasn't hungry. He laughed. I blinked a few times and my vision came back, but the pioneer had miraculously disappeared once again. What the hell is going on here? Oh, so he's not real in the fake reality. That's some Inception shit. Now I was absolutely sure that there was something strange about that guy. He must be related to everything happening around here. Yeah! Finally you are getting more into this one. I will have to find out. But for starters, it's good to confirm that I am not mistaken, and that he is not just a local pioneer. It was quite crowded at the beach. It looked like everyone from the camp was here. Well, no wonder, it's so hot outside. Olga was standing just a bit further apart from everyone, keeping an eye on an army of pioneers. As soon as I thought coming here might have not been the best idea, she noticed me. And she with a strange bikini. Hey Simeon, you aren't at the lineup, and in general you are just longing around all day. I did not know how to answer. And just how are you planning on becoming a proper pioneer? She continued more softly. Olga, in the camp, is there a pioneer who looks a lot like me? She looked surprised. Maybe, I don't know. Why do you ask? Oh, I'm just curious. Well, we have a lot of boys here. Alright, never mind. Someone's yell came from the riverside, and Olga rushed in its direction, I guess. Well, it looks like I will be spared a lecture. I lowered myself onto the sand and stared at the pioneers playing in the water. After a few minutes of sitting here, Uljana approached me. Why so sad? I'm not sad. Well, why are you here sitting all alone? Just thinking. About what? I decided to spare her my story about the mysterious pioneer. Well, imagine that you are chatting with a weird person. And you have to figure out what exactly is so weird about them. Simple. I would just ask them. She laughed. Too simple. But he won't answer. How do you know? Have you tried asking? No, but it's obvious. Yeah, if I was you, I would have asked. But okay. Uljana did not answer, just sat down next to me and let out a tired sigh. I'm all swimmed out. And what if they know something but won't tell you? Make them! But how? For a bit longer we sat together talking about random things, and then I got up, said goodbye, and went away. It's time to find the mysterious stranger and get all the answers. Huh. Ah, so this is the bus stop. I never saw that because up till now there was always the bus standing there. The first place to visit was the bus stop. After all, this is where it all began. What goes around comes around, I guess. The road was empty, as always. Only small dust tornadoes were occasionally visible on it. I was ready to turn around and go back to the camp, but then I heard someone whisper. Don't trust him. Someone was hiding behind the monument. A pioneer was sitting there with his back to me. And once again the voice seemed strangely familiar. Who are you? I took a few steps towards him. Stop! Don't come any closer! For some reason I froze on my tracks. From somewhere deep inside an assurance came to me, and I understood that I shouldn't argue with him. Alright, I'll stay here. Have you seen him? Talk to him? He asked nervously. Who are you even talking about? He was dressed in a pioneer uniform. You know who. And I definitely did know. He was talking about the weird pioneer I saw earlier. Yes, I answered after a few moments of silence. What did he tell you? The pioneer asked in a pleading tone. Nothing really. Did he give you advice? Did he tell you what to do? Threaten you? No, nothing like that. Of course he seemed pretty weird, but nothing more than that. Remember, he may not be alone. Or more likely, he is alone. But you may meet many pioneers who look like him. And what about you? Who are you? Who are you hiding from? You will understand. In time. Just remember, the most important thing is to find the exit. All of a sudden, a strong gust of wind came through, ripping leaves from the trees and throwing an old paper bag into my face. Shielding myself, I averted my eyes. When I looked back at the monument, the pioneer was already gone. So now it's obvious something isn't wrong in his head. So it's not like someone out of the old world. It's happening in his head. That's pretty obvious now. I guess the different thoughts he has are materializing into persons or something like that. That may explain the condition Shurik had to deal with. He heard voices. Maybe these voices were his version of the voices, if you know what I mean. I guess we may find out about that one, or maybe we won't. When I looked back at the monument, the peony was already gone. At the moment I was overwhelmed by fear. Real, almost tangible fear. I remember being scared during my first hours at this camp. But back then, everything around me seemed kind and friendly. Now Sovienok revealed its fangs, getting ready to eat me. And ahead, the unknown. My body was covered in goosebumps, my throat was dry, and my hands were shaking. I tried to ignore it all and headed back to camp. You know what? This scenario is way more threatening than the bullshit in the dark house, you know what I mean? This was really the horror part, and this was really not good. That is the only thing so far I really did not enjoy. The horror part was not good. But now the psycho thriller stuff is at least interesting. I don't know where it's going, so I can't really judge it by now, but as of now it's interesting. Oh, sorry, my bad again. It was already dinner time, but I had no desire to go to the canteen. After meeting the second mysterious pioneer, just thinking about the locals made me, if not afraid, then at least creeped out. I don't even know who or what they all are. And even though nothing has happened yet, it does not mean I can trust them. I stopped in front of the clubhouse, but then realized that this is not the best spot to be at. I could run into someone, which was not something I wanted to do at the moment. Almost running, I hurried towards the forest and walked a few meters along the path, before finally stopping. On one side, the mysterious pioneer. Well, two of them to be precise. On the other, all the other inhabitants of this camp, who seemed absolutely normal. Either way, my decision to stand back and let everything resolve itself was under some serious pressure. At this point it was clear to me I had to do something on my own. But what exactly? Everyone is probably having dinner, so I have a good chance to make it to Olga's place without being noticed. I decided to first take my clothes that I wore when I arrived here, along with my cell phone. I won't be able to come up with a solid plan right off the bat, so for the time being I might as well hide in the forest. I leaped up the steps and entered the building. My clothes were right where I left them, and my phone was where it was supposed to be, under my pillow. I quickly grabbed it and was ready to stuff it into my pocket, but then I noticed something on the screen. The message window was open. The text read, "You're wrong, Semyon. You are so wrong." It felt like my soul had left my body. That is seriously creepy. I froze on the spot. I was shaking, and my blood was pumping so hard it felt like my skull was going to burst open from the pressure. It took at least a full minute for me to come back to senses. Olga could have typed in the message, or one of the pioneers. It's easy to figure out how to do it, even if they are not familiar with this technology. But no one besides me should know where I keep the phone. This event was the straw that broke the camel's back. I rushed out of the house, determined never to come back here. Night fell on the campgrounds. They will come looking for you. It really is no help if you are hiding in the camp, you know. Even in the woods. I had been sitting in the woods for a few hours, trembling at every noise. The spot that I chose was far away from the path, so it would be hard to find me. I was keeping a few plans in my head for the time being. To try and run, to kill every single person in the camp. Give me 1 second to do some speculations again, and predicting shit and stuff. So, right now, we've met 2 people who talk to us, who are probably something out of Semyon's mind, probably. And we got the text message. So now, as of now, it's pretty sure everything is going on in Semyon's head or something like that. So it's no parallel universe, it's no time traveling, it's in his head, most likely. Maybe why do they appear now? Has something triggered them? I don't think so. It's just maybe it's some kind of metaphor. He now has friends. He's social, active. You know what I mean? Everything is working out fine for him. And the only thing that is hindering him from having a good time is the bad things he's carrying with him. Like the fear or the distrust or something like that. So this might be it, you know. Maybe a decision will come that we give in to the fear, give in to the Pioneers' opinions, the mysterious Pioneers' opinions, of course, so we go back to the camp or something like that. Well, but that is just me and my speculations as of now. So let's just keep on reading and see if I'm right or wrong. I was keeping a few plans in my head for the time being. Yeah, I read that. However, on the other hand, one thought chased me, and I realized that I shouldn't behave like this because of some strange pioneer. Or even because of that message on the phone. That is definitely weird, though. All of this was reinforcing the thought that everything happening here was far from normal. However, there was no proof that anyone in the camp had anything to do with it. Yeah, that is true. That is the most reasonable thought as of now. I could have stayed here until morning, lost in my thoughts, but I heard footsteps coming from somewhere nearby. So, you decided to escape after all. I turned around, but couldn't see the pioneer's face in the dark. Nevertheless, I was pretty sure that it was him. I wasn't afraid then. More precisely, I was so physically exhausted that I was prepared for any possible course of events, and somehow managed to reason appropriately and to maintain the conversation. I wouldn't call this as an escape, I answered slowly, stretching every word. Huh? Then what is it? A tactical retreat. Brilliant. He bursts into laughter. Listen, why don't you tell me what's going on? Who you are? And what you want from me? What did that guy tell you at the gate? It seemed that he didn't even hear my question. He told me not to trust you. I lied. But on the other hand, I thought that is what he meant. Well, that's always the way for him. Running away. Hiding. I could hear irritation in his voice. I'm not sure what kind of circus you are running here, but I'm not going to be a part of it. Oh, why not? You're the star after all. I couldn't see his face, but I bet he was smiling. Explain my part to me then. You know, I was like you in the beginning. First time everything went peacefully. Then I escaped. I tried to understand what was going on. Got mad and even tortured them to get the truth. He laughed crazily. I shivered. But it was pointless, continued the pioneer after calming down a bit. Pointless. And then I began to notice the lapses. At first I just heard their voices, from a distance and sometimes in my head. Then vague silhouettes appeared. Then they slowly took on physical form. And finally they stepped into my world. I could touch them, introduce them to other pioneers. They were all were different. Different. Do you get it? Different. He started shouting. And it recurred again and again. You can get used to the loops, but... Then I learned how to get into their worlds by myself, to interact with the others. But it turned out that I'm not alone. There are lots of us. Today you saw at least one more. He fell silent. I didn't know what question to ask and didn't want to interrupt his story, so I simply waited. After a few minutes he continued. It's not that simple, of course. And it's not always possible. Only under certain circumstances. When you feel strong emotions, for example. I instantly remembered how I saw him the first time. The time when I didn't feel any emotions at all. Including the moments when you feel happy. As if he was reading my thoughts. I see. So you're trying to say that there are several parallel worlds, including the same camp with its inhabitants, where I am replaced by you, or that guy I met at the bus stop. Yeah, something like that. Wow, this is great and crazy right now. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. His answer didn't surprise me at all. In the end, it's clear that whatever happens here is beyond the limits of human understanding. And this theory didn't even seem all that unusual. But you've said that everything recurs. Yes, it recurs. And what will happen afterwards? We'll start from the very beginning. You'll walk in the bus, come onto the camp, meet Olga, the girls, electronic. If it happened to you, then why should it happen to me as well? It happens to everyone. Once again, he laughed hysterically. And how many loops have you experienced so far? I stopped counting them already. At first I tried to remember them though. Maybe a few hundred. No wonder. It was very clear to me that this guy was suffering from a progressing mental dysfunction. But you searched for a way out, didn't you? He didn't answer. That's what that guy at the bus stop was talking about. Because he understands nothing, damn it! He shouted. Because he's just like you, constantly running away, hiding. What would you suggest then? If I had any suggestions, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you. But how did you come here? That is the question. How the fuck did he come here? No, it must be in Semyon said. These are not real people. First of all, they look like him. Yeah, I mean, they said that they are him, replacing him in different versions of this world, but I'm just go on reading. Alright, but you were trying, weren't you? Are you trying to understand what I know since I've been around here for a long time? He asked cheerfully. Well, that's evident. Yes, I did try to run away from here. There, he waved towards the forest, is nothing there. Nothing but trees. When I had been walking there for several days and finally passed out, I found myself on the bus again. Same for walking along the road. It's endless. Talking to somebody about that is pointless. You probably already understood that by yourself. Yeah, okay, I did. I interjected. Even if you try to explain your situation directly, at best you'd just be considered an idiot. But if you try not to leave the bus, it's pointless. Sooner or later, you'll be found. I even tried to spend the entire time there. In the end, I fell asleep and everything started from the beginning. And what if you started by yourself and leave? No keys. And I don't have any carjacking skills. A cursed cycle. Exactly! A long silence fell. Finally, I asked, and what about the people around here? Don't they raise absolutely reasonable suspicions? Suspicions? Laughter again. The only thing that is suspicious about them is no matter how much you tell them, they stare at you with their eyes out on stalks. The people. I feared them at first too. Then I used them for different experiments. And now I don't consider them humans. They are all dolls. Puppets. You can easily predict any reaction, any word or action. So, they aren't worth fearing, are they? The only one worth fearing is yourself, he said softly. Do you know how funny it is when human bones crack as they slowly break from distension? Looks like he finally has lost his marbles. Listen, I understand everything, but the other one thinks that's a bit much too. But it doesn't matter. Nobody but you is real here. The pioneer suddenly fell silent. Oh no, I don't agree with you. You're probably thinking why I didn't check this all by myself, aren't you? Why I didn't try to reach the nearest village or town. Yes, I did have such thoughts. Why wasn't I suspicious? Why was I doing different stuff instead of searching for answers? Well, yes. Forget about it. It's normal. We all behave like this for the first time here. But how many others have you seen so far? Not that many. The pioneer was lost in thought. About 10 people maybe. And I'm sure there's many more of them. And is everyone like this? In fact, yes. Only the details are different. But the main thing is invariable. There's no way out of here. And by the way, you're just like the majority of them. The only thing that differs is that you have heard everything from me instead of experiencing it for yourself. I don't know if I should thank him for that. Well, and what now? Nothing, he said shortly. I closed my eyes and lost myself in thought. That was a critical mistake, and he was gone, of course. When I opened the eyes, I didn't see anybody, just like the previous times. So, it's clear what's going on now. But in fact, how could everything he say guide me to an answer? Yes, I'm not alone. Yes, everything recurs. But what's the reason for all this? What is more important? Where's the way out? The only useful thing that I extracted from the conversation was that the local inhabitants were not worth fearing. And that was quite significant to me for now, since it was much better to sleep in a warm cabin instead of the forest. I sighed, took my things, and headed towards the camp. As I was walking, the conversation with my fellow sufferer popped up in my mind every now and then. Why did I not ask him about the message on my phone, and some other stuff? There were hints after all. Maybe if I had found some details out, I could have drawn some conclusions. However, it didn't seem like our meeting would be the last one. Lights were on in August's cabin. I opened the door gently and went in. Speak of the devil, here you are, the camp leader said angrily. Olga, I'm so tired now, so let's put off the lecture. Tired from what, I wonder? From everything, I snapped rudely. The camp leader looked at me with surprise. I fell into bed without undressing. Simeon, a role model pioneer, shouldn't behave like that. And how should he behave then? Well, not like that. The camp leader stumbled for a moment, as if struggling to pick the right words. He should respect his seniors. I respect you immensely, for sure. Simeon! The sarcasm in my voice didn't go unnoticed. And now I'd like to sleep. Wait, By the way, how far is the nearest town? When does the bus arrive? How can I even get out of here? I asked in a surprisingly calm voice. There was no answer, and there shouldn't have been any. I said all this just in order to get rid of her. Why are you silent? I'm tired. Let's talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow is the final day, isn't it? The camp leader got up and turned off the light. Yes, it's all just like that guy said. Why did I speak to him so calmly and properly, I wonder? I should have been shivering from horror. Well, I was a little bit. That pioneer didn't have much credibility, but I had a feeling that he's unable to harm me. As soon as I thought that it would be a good idea to ask something else, fatigue overtook me and I passed out. The background music is strange. Day 7. Probably the final day. The bright sunlight was striking my eyes, even through my eyelids. I stretched out lazily and quickly got myself out of the bed. It was 2 p.m. Looks like yesterday really finished me off, and my body required much more time to recover than usual. I had a stroll around the room, thinking of what I should do today. Obviously, my life in the camp would never be the same again after everything that I had heard from the strange pioneer. And if everything is just as he said, I have plenty of time ahead. I grabbed my hygiene kit and went outside. I managed to take only a couple of steps as somebody ran into my back. I turned around and saw Elisa. Hey, be careful, said she indifferently and ran on her way. She held some kind of bag in her hands. Whatever. Yet another ordinary day in this crazy place. I finished brushing my teeth and then spent an eternity washing my face with ice-cold water to bring myself to senses and refresh my head at least a bit. I felt a bit better after that. Suddenly, hope struck me from nowhere. It wasn't hope that I'd be likely to leave this place safely. Rather, I just didn't want to believe that everything is as bad as that guy told me. Yeah, true, I mean... Whoa! You motherfucker, you really scare me. Could you cut that fuck out? Jesus. Good morning. I heard a faint voice coming from the woods. Someone stood behind a tree. Morning. Are you ready? Ready for what? I looked again and it seemed like it was the pioneer from the bus stop yesterday. Indeed, I was prepared for such weirdness today, so I wasn't really surprised and started this conversation quite clear-headed. Oh, so he's from the bus stop, he's not the one from the woods, okay. You didn't believe him, did you? What are you talking about? Everything that he said. Alright, but what is your opinion on what is happening? I'd already distanced myself from the outside world and decided to treat everything happening to me just like a fictional film, not reality. Hopefully, it would give me more room to move around in terms of situational logic analysis. There is an exit. There has to be, he said excitedly. I don't know, but I'd like to believe that too. If you just... Semyon! The one time I'm not happy to see you, lady. I turned around. Slavia was standing right next to me. Who are you talking to? No one. Just talking to myself. I hardly think it's worth telling her about aliens from parallel worlds. She probably can't even see them anyway. Have you prepared already? Prepared? For another hike? No. Today's the last day of the session. What? A stupid smile settled on my face. There will be a bus this evening. We're leaving. Holy cow. I was ready for even the most incredible of twists, but no, Simeon, I have foreseen that pretty early. I mean, everybody probably. Was this what that mysterious pioneer was talking about? Probably it was. Well, apparently I'll have to go for a second lap and live yet another week in this camp. This time I know everything. I haven't packed yet. It's not like I have much to pack anyway. Okay. Slavia shifted her gaze. Seemed like she wanted to say something, but hesitated. Well, see you then. Yeah. I had to ask when we were leaving at least. I went to the square with the intention of discovering that. There's got to be someone I know there. But, believe it or not, there was only Genda waiting for me at the square. Probably all the pioneers are busy with packing. I took a seat on a bench and just stared at the sky. It turns out that today I just have to wait for the departure, pass out on the bus and wake up in this camp again, just like the first day. And if it really will be like that, we will find out in the next episode. Man, maybe the next episode is already the last, or at least the second to last or something like that. Wow, really intense feeling. Like, for real, I really felt scared with that shit. With the parallel universe shit, you know. That dude is creepy. Creeps me out. So congratulations to the game creators. Your ghosty horror scene was not good. Your psychological thriller horror was what it should have been. Very good. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Come back for the next part and let's find out together what is going on here. And I'll see you then. Bye bye.